Good morning, America, and our greatest global of all time family of listeners and viewers. Welcome to today's show. It's such a special show for such an incredibly special, heartfelt event, Memorial Day. Um, and I want to preface everything by saying while we typically associate Memorial Day, Memorial Weekend with the unofficial start of summer, along with hot dogs and hamburgers and barbecues outside. That's all great and it's all part of it, but that's not the purpose. That's not the focus. Um, I want to stress that today is an appreciation day for all the troops that served in all the wars that unfortunately did not come home. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is today's focus. Um, so I never want to say Happy Memorial Day. That's way off point. Um, I wish everyone a somber and enjoyable Memorial Day, um, and be happy if you can in the fact that we're able to do what we do because of the sacrifices that folks made that this day honors. So, with that, enjoy the show, enjoy your day. And we are broadcasting live right here in Palmyra, Pennsylvania at the VFW right on Main Street as the parade's about to begin. And excuse me, the parade's about to begin, and we're going to be right here. We'll get some good footage of the parade of some of the folks who are in it. And we want to talk with some veterans and families who are here at the VFW to honor our fallen comrades. And we'll get to that in just a minute. What I'd like to do now is welcome some of our new family members, some of our newest family members. Like I always say, it seems like every week um, I'm honoring new family members. What we do, our mission is just so exciting. Um, so deep, so real that folks, when you understand it, you just, how can I help? What can I do? How can I get involved? And of course, I'm talking about reducing and eliminating veteran suicide through Project Intervene, which is the flagship of the Kazern Community and Veterans Outreach, the 501c3. So our whole mission is to educate folks on the fact that, first of all, suicide is a process. It's not a single stage event. There are a lot of things leading up to that final choice. Um, so what we do is we want to educate not only our veterans but our families as well to be able to recognize and interpret what you're seeing to fit it into the pattern. You'll be able to say, this and this and this. There's something going on here, and then we take it to the next level of what do we do. It's fine to know about something. Um, the other part of it is we want to know what we can do to successfully intervene. Is the whole goal here, to put together a safe intervention team. And by safe, I mean folks who know what they're doing, obviously. And the other part of the safe is that we're not involving mandated reporters. We don't want this thing to mushroom beyond what it's intended to do, and that's intended to save a life and offer a second chance and work with our veterans to rebuild our sense of purpose and become more and more internally happy and feeling that sense of peace and desire to move forward. And what we've found is in the success, uh, what happens is it goes way beyond our veterans choosing not to commit suicide, but take it a little bit further. And we have our guys and girls wanting to help others because now they feel and realize that the huge implications, and now they can also appreciate not having made that ultimate choice, that choice to put a permanent solution to a what is a temporary issue or problem, as long as it's addressed and we find help. So that's what we're all about, folks. And our show every week is designed to get information out that is critical and important and new and cutting edge to our veterans and families to stay updated on everything as it's as it's occurring, so we don't have the gee, I wish I'd have known that. Um, we definitely try to make sure we get everything out for folks to be able to absorb and act and use in our daily lives. So, in addition to this being Memorial Day, we have a real big issue that's going on uh, in the Pennsylvania Senate. I don't believe it's gotten to a committee yet, and our mission is to make sure it does not. And what we're talking about is Senate Bill 756. And this is the bottom line of this bill is it is designed to tax the skill game machines that are critical to our folks in clubs. And by clubs, I'm talking about social clubs of like the VFW, the Legions, Fraternal Order of Police organizations, firehouses, social clubs. And what's happening is they want to tax all this, and the taxation is a minimum of 35%. What that does is that actually cripples the activities, the moving forward for our clubs because they depend on that revenue. And I'm hearing the parade coming closer. But what we'll do is we're going to talk to some folks here at the VFW who can explain just how much VFWs, Legions, the social clubs depend on that revenue to be able to help others, to keep the doors open, to pay and support programs, not only within the clubs, but in the community as well. There's a huge give back to the communities. So we want to be well aware of that and realize that this is no small matter. This is not, we're not talking about a 6% tax on something. We're talking a huge amount. They want to become a silent partner and extort basically our clubs. Um, what's happening is the tax proposal is on the gross revenue, meaning before any expenses come out. So what what really is huge to understand here is that does not include payouts. Okay. So if someone is winning on a machine, let's say, the revenues that will take the winnings that will take away from the actual revenues are not deducted from the taxable amount that they consider. So theoretically, if the machine has winners that the club pays out, let's say 75%, and they tax on top of that another 35%. Well, guess what? Now our clubs are operating at a negative 5%. And, we don't have to be mathematicians to realize that that's not going to work. So when they're talking about wanting to help small businesses and support our veterans, let's ask them, how does this compute? How does taxing and taking away from the ability of these clubs to perform and continue, how does that help? Where's the help there? I don't get it. So that's one of the things that we're going to be talking about with Casino Chris Gebhardt, who ironically, unbelievably, uh, much much to my like, I can't believe you're really doing this. Are you serious? How big of a slap to the face do you really want to make to veterans and families by walking and marching in today's parade? Gebhardt is the sponsor of this bill. It's his brainchild. He's the one who authored it, and he's got like three other senators in Pennsylvania on board with it. And it's like, you've all just committed political suicide. We have one of the highest veteran populations in the country, just under 1 million veterans. And that vote alone is going to say, hey, you know what? You messed with us. You showed us your true colors. You really don't care about us. You're doing photo ops. You're kissing babies. You're wanting to show appearances at clubs and VFWs and parades. And, the reality is you're all about your pocketbook. You're all about your revenues, right? Because you done been bought and paid for by the casinos. That's obvious. They're the ones that feel threatened by this entire existence of the skill games, which they have no reason to be. They don't put a dent in the revenues that casinos have. So there's no problem there, no worries. And I'm hearing, as I'm looking to my left, I'm hearing the parade get closer. And what we want to do is we want to be able to visit with Senator Gebhardt and have him explain to us exactly why this is going on. Why are you writing this bill in your words? It's obvious to us. It's called greed. You know, um, that's the obvious. But we also want to be able to have it come out of your own words. We want to hear it right from you, and also explain what in the world are you doing marching in a parade with real veterans and real people. Not only did you not wear the uniform, but now you're being very fraudulent, perpetuating a fraud by pretending to support veterans and families. And in the meantime, you're sticking us in the back. That's the bottom line. Um, so welcome to that club. And you, Chris, obviously next year for elections, I don't even think we'll see you on a ballot. Um, as a matter of fact, I think when this is all said and done, you're probably going to be hanging out in Vegas, uh, with the guys that are financing your mission here, son. So yeah, good luck with all that. And we are looking for some folks who may want to visit with us. Um, I see a great friend of mine by the name of Doug Zubik, and I'm kind of wondering if he might want to come over and explain the bill a little bit better, because he is much more aware of the bill than what I can describe. Uh, so, sir, let me ask you this. Are you familiar with Senate Bill 756?
Yes, I am.
Would you care to have a seat and explain it to me, please?
Thank you, sir. If that bill
You're welcome.
passes,
Let me just get you here.
I don't put
Um,
me on it.
there we go. Okay.
If that bill passes, these clubs will go under. We're already mightily. We're struggling mightily. This is what's keeping all veterans clubs open. So if they pass that, we're pretty much done. I mean, these clubs are dying slowly, a slow death anyway. So
Yeah, it's getting membership in is a small part of finance, right?
that's a tiny part of it, but most of your percentages go to national or state or county.
Right,
So
right.
we're dependent on gambling to keep our doors open.
Okay.
That's what we're dependent on.
Let's take a look at how it actually works. Now, I've said that the tax is proposed to be on the gross revenue, that before payouts. So my point is theoretically and very realistically, our guys could be very much under.
Oh, underwater, absolutely,
Yeah,
100% underwater.
yeah. If we're paying out 75% of the revenue,
Yes.
we're taxed on 35 or even 40%. There we are, 5 or 10% underwater right away.
You're already paying at 20% to the state right
Okay,
now. Right off
okay.
the bat, we're paying at 20% right now to the state, to the vendor, and then we got 40. So it's 20, 20, 40. I mean,
Okay.
that's how. Right there, any tax at all would put us under. So that
Okay.
it wouldn't behoove us to even have the things in there.
Right. Now, see, that's something I wasn't even aware of. This is the very first time I'm able to bring this to our listeners and viewers that there is already a 20% in place.
Yep.
So wow. So 35, well,
Right
35%
before we do
would just kill
anything,
it.
when you pull the machines out there, 20% goes here, 20% goes to the vendor, and then we recoup the rest. With that gone, we would go on. I mean, we
That's
one pay to keep these machines in there.
that's a real simple math equation.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow, that really totally hugely changes the whole perspective.
Absolutely. It needs somebody needs to really look at the numbers and see what these clubs do, and what we do for the community versus
Right, and
versus
that
what
was one of the things that I pointed out is
what
it's
that tax would do to us versus what we do for the community. I mean,
now that's what I wanted to mention, what we do for the community, because a lot of folks, maybe a preconception is, well, they have these machines, they rake in all this money, and they should be filthy rich, right? Well, we know that's not true. What I want to
it's
let
basically keeping the doors open
and
right
I
now.
want to let folks know just some of the programs in the community that this money actually helps.
We take care of the cemeteries. We take care of Teener baseball, be it Legion, VFW, baseball. We take care of the cemeteries, set grave markers, put flags out, and remove the flags. We do the cemetery shoots on Memorial Day, which we did today.
Right.
So just that alone is invaluable. Do fireworks. We've restarted this parade, which has been dead for years, but we restarted the parade. And this is all volunteer work. This is
Okay.
100% volunteer work. We're not getting paid to do anything.
Right.
This is
Right. So that's
100%
huge.
volunteer.
That's huge. In fact, I know of a story where one of the members of the VFW would visit a home over in Hershey that had a lot of veterans as residents.
We do that. We do that. We do the parades at um, I forget the name of the place back here. Londonderry
Okay.
Village. We go to Hershey. We go to Harmony at Hershey. Do all that and do a little parade, a little fanfare for them, for the veterans that are currently indigent and can't work, can't get out,
Right.
can't, and doing what we can for the community. I mean, as much as anybody else, more than any other organizations in town. Um, so
Yeah, that brings me to a question I need to pose. Can anyone explain what Gebhardt has done for us recently? Is there anything that has improved our lives? Any legislation? Any ideas?
not that I'm aware of.
Nah.
Not that I'm aware of.
But yet here is Casino Chris, and he wants to dig in the pockets of the folks
Um,
that can't afford it.
the club, yes. All this is going to do is hurt the people that are helping the community. This is
Right.
all this thing is going to do.
So back to my question de jour, right? His big thing is he wants to help small businesses, mom and pop organizations, right? Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you take out 35% of the revenues, how are you helping them?
What you're doing is killing the people that keep the flag. You see the flags going up and down Main Street right now. You see this parade happening right now. This is all veterans clubs. This is 100% the replacing and the fixing of the markers on the graves for our veterans. Replacing or to do the fireworks down at Palmyra Legion, for instance.
Okay.
Just that alone, doing community activities, having a little carnival. Um, when I was a kid, we had carnivals probably 2, 3 times a year, and bands would come. Nobody does anything. The firemen don't do it anymore. It's all falls on the veteran organization, which I said we're a slowly dying organization because you can't get help. You can't get people to come out and do what should be done, needs to be done.
Yeah, it's with today's environment being like 24/7 uh, ex, exposure, I guess we would say, because of all the digital devices that we have. It's like everything is just a click away,
Yep.
So it's like people's brains are stimulated 24/7, which kind of takes away, it blocks the interest in the community because
Yes.
it's all about me and my device.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here comes the Palmyra VFW Auxiliary.
Hey, I was just told, and I know you heard that, folks. The auxiliary, the Palmyra VFW auxiliaries here. No, I haven't had a beverage. I have PTSD, wicked bad. So, every now and then I have to relearn how to speak. But I'm gonna turn this.
Take care.
Yes, thank you.
Welcome.
I'm gonna turn this around so we can get a view of our folks in the parade, um, and we can take a look here. All right. Here's our great folks and great parade. And we're just kind of waiting to see where Casino Chris is in this parade. Somebody mentioned he decided to bow out, uh, knowing that all the pressure is on and questions are being asked, and he's not able to come up with satisfactory responses that make sense and are honored. So, so he may well have bowed out. This is great. This is great. Um, I really want to turn this thing around so we can watch the parade, and that's way more important than hearing my voice. So let me get this turned around. All these folks that you hear in the background are obvious supporters of our VFWs, our veterans, our active duty, and by all means, honor and respect the fallen who have given their all in effort to save our freedoms, and uh, make sure we're not speaking Chinese or Russian as a primary language. Let me get this turned around right quick. Okay. Doug, what are you seeing on your? Well, let's see what we look like here. I turned it around, and obviously, let's see what we look like on Facebook or YouTube. Just bear with me here, folks. I want to take a look.
Come on, Michelle. Kings for mayor.
This is beautiful.
Kings for mayor.
Okay. All right, we're gonna have to check on YouTube, I think. This parade is like amazing, and you heard the commander talking about it had been dormant and dead for quite some time, and they've put in the work, the effort to bring this back to life. So what we're seeing here today is what we're seeing here today. Okay, I believe I have that focused pretty well. At least it appears to be, yeah. Okay, yeah. All right, so I'm going to comment as we're watching the parade go by. I think we have a nice view of it right here. So let me get this opened up so I can really see it. Oh, yeah, that's perfect. That is perfect. Okay, perfect. All right, let's enjoy the parade. And we'll be talking throughout the parade. We'll be talking with some veterans and some other folks, family members who have a better idea of what's going on, how this bill will impact or would impact, because we're not going to let it go through. That's not an option. And realistically, I don't think anyone really wants to see it go through. Huh? Well, I'll pass on the reason for the laughter here in a minute. Uh, Actually, I was just informed that Casino Chris did not show for his appearance here in the parade. And I got to tell you, he promoted the fact that he was going to be in the parade for the last couple of weeks on posters and things like that. So, it wasn't like, gee, maybe I'll stop by. So, if you'd like, Chris, we'd love to sit down and have a round table and, talk about this.
I knew what I know what this shit's gonna do to us. I'm on the executive board here. Well, I was on here, but I'm not anymore. But you know what? This the only thing this is going to do is vary us. I mean, that's what we keep. If I don't keep it our doors open. Hopefully not. And from what I understand, it's not going to proceed much farther.
Right. Yeah.
There's a big meeting at the Navy Club next week. Next week.
Bananas.
Okay.
Well, they had a banner in the front.
Okay, folks. Well, we're taking a little bit of a break here and enjoying the parade. I want to take a minute and do our shout out to our newest family members. I got started on that and got sidetracked, but I want to welcome some of our newest family members. And I'm going to start with the hugest, I think, the biggest, the most significant at the moment, and wish our listener and viewer in New York a beautiful day. Thank you. And we're actually just watching Gebhardt walk by now. He did show up. He did show up. I'll be darned.
Go!
Wow.
Go, set us up.
Hey, don't forget and come back so we can do an interview and you can explain why you're walking in the parade. We want to know. All right, hey, there we go. There's Russ Diamond, who is truly a friend of veterans and families. Hey, Russ, thanks. So I want to get back and welcome Miss Kylie in New York um, into our family and thank you on the show. And hope you have a beautiful day with your family. And I also want to welcome Jim over in Carlisle. Jim has joined our family. He's a veteran, and he's got some personal experience with things that affect our veterans and the ultimate decision that can sometimes be made. So, Jim, thank you for your support. Thanks for your help, and of course, you know we're here 24/7. Which reminds me, if anyone out there is in need, feel free to call me at 717-455-7086. And that's 24/7. I will never not answer my phone. Just feel free if you're in need to call. That is never, not calling would be the problem. So please do call. Uh, and we also want to mention one of our great new sponsors, and that is Shea Vending right here in Palmyra, Pennsylvania. Bill and Willie Shea have adopted us as something they really want to support, and they're very community oriented. In fact, um, the logo is choose Shays and learn how they pay, because having Shays involved is where a lot of these machines are coming into play and generating the revenues. So while of course it's a business for profit, they understand the whole principle of love people and use money. Don't get it in reverse. So while of course they enjoy their profit, they make sure that their clients and the community benefit as well. So we see more folks coming through here on the parade, and this is great. This is great. So we're hoping, actually, since we've discovered that Casino Chris did in fact walk through on the parade, and didn't give us a look, didn't give us a wave, kind of like saw we were there, and then it's like, well, let me look away. I don't want to make eye contact, and a hottie I highly doubt he's going to come back for an interview. If I were him, I wouldn't. I wouldn't want to talk to me. No, that'd be brutal. Uh, but anyway, the facts are the facts, and I'm just bringing out the truth. You know, hence the name 100% Truth for this series of shows. It's like don't smile in our face and tell us how much you love veterans and families, and then propose a bill that's going to kill all the support for the programs and the fact that the clubs are here, that our veterans have a place to go, to still feel connected with other veterans. That in itself is a huge benefit. So close all these doors, and then what? Then what? And as I mentioned in previous shows, I'm sure there is no plan in place to pick up the fallout. None. No one cares. They don't care. They care about the money, the revenue. And the other side of the coin that they're not even considering is, okay, when these doors close, what happens to your revenue? Well, it disappears. So your short-term goals may have been realized, but now what? Now you've killed off a whole very important part of our military family with no thought as to what you're going to do next. How are you going to support us? How are you going to care for our veterans, which goes all the way back to Abraham Lincoln during the Civil War, and he's the one who made the declaration that we are to have an organization to support all the widows and orphans of the soldiers who borne the battle, borne the brunt of war, and are no longer here. So there you have it. The VFWs, the Legions, um, and the VA itself started way back during the Civil War. So it's not a small thing. It's not a new idea. It's not like, gee, do you think we ought to, have something like this? Uh-uh. It started way back during the Civil War and has been in existence ever since. And all of a sudden now in Pennsylvania, we have Casino Chris come along and decide, his pockets aren't filled enough. Let's go ahead and propose this bill because why? Well, because the casinos offered a whole ton of money to do so, and their motivation is misperceived that the skill games will take something away from the casinos. They want to be the only game in town, and that's it's big enough to share. The way things have been, the skill games take nothing away from casinos. They have not one iota of impact on casino revenue. So there's never a worry there. It's just about greed and control. And another not thrilling fact is that it's a lot of out-of-state casino owners that are pushing this bill. What do you guys care what's going on in Pennsylvania? Are you hoping for a national referendum here? Is that what the goal is? Not cool, not cool at all. You're messing with, like I said, in Pennsylvania, just under a million veterans. So what are you thinking? What can you possibly be thinking? Obviously about your own pocket and welfare. So I'm going to take a little break here and let the cameras roll and catch the parade as it's coming along. Got some fire trucks coming up and some other marchers. So enjoy the show. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, there would be no show without our family of viewers and listeners. Thank you. There would definitely not be a show. And I do want to mention one other thing. Uh, we have the Vets Brew coffee available. We have light, medium, and dark roast. We have 12-ounce bags. We have uh, 3-ounce bags, and we also have K cups available. And we can even provide you with whole beans if you wish. So send us an email at sal at w. I'm sorry, sal at thekzcvo.org. Again, that's sal at the kzcvo.org, or feel free to message me on Facebook. Just Google Sal Santori and some options will come up for contact. Feel free to use any of them. And there, oh my goodness, there comes one of our great friends, Miss Debbie Hornick, who is Miss Pennsylvania, uh, the Miss America Pennsylvania. And I know I got that wrong. She is the 2025 All American Royal Queen. There we go. I got it right. So I'm not going to get any um, blowback from Deb. Like, hey, can't you even get my title right, Sal? I apologize for making it a botched description there, but yes, thank you. And Miss Deb does so much for the community. If you follow her on Facebook, you'll see she has appearances um, way more than most folks have coffee in the daytime. You know, she's just that busy, and it's all volunteer. She doesn't get paid to come out and smile and let folks know to remember our veterans and families. This is her heart. She's a beautiful, wonderful person. So we just want to say thank you live and on the air, Deb, for all that you do. And we're watching some more folks come through on the parade. This is amazing. Could you imagine not having all this? You know, we close up the VFWs and Legions. Where's the support going to come from? You know, all this is going to disappear. Seriously, all this will disappear. The skill games, I learned recently, the revenues from the skill games are actually calculated into the annual budgets for the VFWs and Legions. They're that important. It's not in addition to, the revenues are not uh, a side thought. You know, they are they are calculated into the annual budgets. Feel free to make comments and ask questions right on Facebook. I'll be able to have a look and answer them. If not, if not immediately on the air and live on uh, camera, I will definitely post them. We are starting a new Facebook group. It's called 100% Truth, and a lot of folks will be invited to join. And we encourage everyone who's watching or listening to look for that. And by all means, please join. The whole purpose of the group is to be updated on first of all this bill 756 and let folks know what's going on there. But beyond that, we want to let all our folks know what's happening relative to our veterans and families uh, in, for now, Pennsylvania legislative sessions. But also, we're going to be taking that beyond Pennsylvania because, you know, as I say, we have the global greatest family of listeners of all time. And global is no misrepresentation. We are heard and watched in the Philippines, um, and some other countries overseas and abroad that we're in touch with some families over there, some active duty folks overseas. So we definitely have a global reach, and thank God for that. Um, and as I say, this is all because of you, our family. Nothing I could have done. This is like God led. This is spirit led. I just follow, and I know who's in charge, and I know His hand has reached out to many folks to bring them into our family to continue to grow and be able to provide more updates, more information, and more resources. We have resources available to help families and veterans, and if we don't have it, I will find it. You'll never get, gee, I can't help you. No, no. I will find the answers if I don't have them. So, on that, I'm going to take a little break here, as I said before, and invite you to enjoy the show. It's a beautiful day, a beautiful atmosphere, and an awesome parade put together by the irreplaceable folks at Palmyra VFW. Enjoy. Yeah,
Michelle,
okay.
Michelle squirted me.
We thought you had was
Reverse picture. It's polyester.
She can't lift him high enough to kick him in the ass yet. She's got the other one. Yeah, she's got the other one.
That's a coffee. That's a coffee.
Oh, there.
Yeah. Isn't that?
R and F. It's right down there by like. Kevin, isn't it right down there by like?
Yes. Yeah. I think it is. I think it is.
Yeah. Huh. Never heard of it.
That was the shit Rona was selling. You don't remember what she was selling? No, it was really
Keep
good.
forgetting about that. I have time to get out and make a cake.
Folks, I just want to throw in that we will let the cameras roll for the duration of the parade. And before we end and close, I will definitely bring an update as far as are we going to get to have a conversation with Casino Chris or not. So, and please enjoy the parade. It's beautiful. It is beautiful.
Why has to help you do it too?
Get your mind.
You did it. Oh, I'm braided out.
Smoke. Let it acclimate.
I only see a little
My pleasure. I can tell you that.
I'm a calzone guy.
Welcome back, folks. And I'm watching the end of the parade passing by, marked by a regional police cruiser. And folks are kind of packing up their chairs and everything. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. And, you know, above all else, we need your support. And I'm not talking about just dollar support. I'm talking about folks who want to volunteer to help fight this bill and make sure it does not even get into committee for consideration. So I'm asking everyone to please contact us here, excuse me, at sal at the kzcvo.org. And if nothing else, please message me on Messenger on Facebook. As I said, just Google Sal Santori, and you'll find several ways to reach out to me. And you know, I can't stress enough the importance of defeating this issue. Uh, and it doesn't look like Casino Chris is going to be coming back to sit with me for an interview. Gee. Maybe there's a flicker of common sense there after all. Um, but what I do want to tell you is for Wednesday, we'll be bringing shows live. The 100% Truth Show will be live on Wednesdays, and we'll be back here, I believe, at the well, actually, this Wednesday we'll be over at the Navy Club doing a show. Club Ship 91 is the Navy Club over on Lehman Street in Lebanon, Pennsylvania. And we'll be doing a show over there and talking with some folks as far as what this bill would do and what the revenues mean to the survival of these clubs. And I want to thank Willie Shea from Shea Vending for all his great support. He realizes the importance of the revenues here, you know, and then, like I said, they're a for-profit business, and they're not a greedy for-profit business. They're like, okay, of course we need to earn a revenue, an income, but guess what? We're also here to benefit our veterans, our families, um, the BFWs, the Legions, the Fraternal Order of Police, uh, social clubs, as well as fire companies and their social clubs. You know, fire equipment is not cheap. It doesn't just appear. So the revenues to acquire new trucks, new equipment, maintain what they have is paramount, and it's very much dependent on the revenues from skill machines, skill games. So one other caveat I want to announce: last week I promised that I would bring the difference between the casino style slot machines and the skill games. What is the difference? Why are they not all just considered, gambling machines, so to speak? Well, the difference is the skill games have no ability to be regulated on the inside, so to speak. And what I mean by that is they cannot be set to determine the frequency of winners or the amount of winners. It's totally random. Um, so it is a skill game. It is not a slot machine where the house sets parameters in the internal workings of the machine that it will decide how often they allow a winner and how much the payout's going to be. So when you see that guy on TV talking about jackpots, jackpots, well, guess what? They already know how often they're going to allow somebody to have a jackpot and for how much. So you can bet with that type of control that the house is never going to lose. So by having the skill games that do not have that capability, it's entirely random. And I would venture to say that's quite possibly what they fear, that the attraction to the ability to actually win will far outweigh the excitement of going to a casino thinking you're going to hit and have a jackpot, when in reality, they see you coming and they're like, Nope, not today, Johnny. It's not your day to win. So I just wanted to make sure and fulfill my promise and tell you that that is the difference, the control factor, the inability for skill games to control who wins, how much, and how often. With that, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And as I already mentioned, we need your support, our veterans and families, communities. We need your support. So as I close every show, and I remind you to please find someone to help. Thank you, and we'll see you Wednesday.
Amazing parade. Amazing parade.